snap, crackle, pop, wham, wham, wham. And the hits, they just keep coming. My mother is literally beating me down to the ground with a belt buckle, an extension cord, and a broomstick. There are knots forming on my head. My mother tells my sisters to get in on the action, so they're hitting me at the same time. It's November 18th, 1991, and I'm literally fighting for my life because my mother's trying to murder me. As she's hitting me, she's telling me, "You're ugly, you're stupid, no man's ever gonna want you. You think you're gonna have friends? Really? Looking like you do?" And she kept on, and my sisters kept on. And I know it was God that saved me that night. That wasn't the first time that my mother beat me down to the ground with those words. And as that extension cord sliced across my skin, leaving me with cuts and scars for the rest of my life, those words cut across my mind just as sharp. To always be told and measured against my light-skinned sister, from my father, who was a drug addict, to take a deaf ear and watch me get massacred all the time. I heard her words every day of my young life. And when I tell you, it's hard to grow up when you have a mother who literally didn't even want to take you from the hospital because you were ugly. When I think back to that time a long time ago, I still can't believe I lived through that. I can't believe she threw me out like garbage on November 18th, 1991, naked and bleeding in St. Louis, Missouri. When I tell y'all, I walked 2 miles naked to my aunt's house and collapsed on her front porch. I don't know what happened from that day to this one. I knew I had to keep going. Because one day, and God told me when I was 5 years old, I was going to be a star. One that had yet to shine bright. Always being compared to people who looked nothing like me. Always being told I wasn't quite good enough. For my neighborhood, everywhere. And yet there was something deep down inside of me that said I got to keep going. Because God told me I was going to be a star. Now, it's not unusual. There's so many kids who grew up like me, even if they never tell you their stories. Told they were too ugly. They weren't quite right. They didn't quite fit in. And it made them go inside. It made them go internal, to be in the background. And that's where they felt comfortable. No one could humiliate them. No one could make fun of them. And that's why today, when you think back over your life, I want you to think of those times when people said what you could not do. I want you to think about every flaw people have brought up about you. And I want you to know you can take those flaws and that you can make them your secret weapon because they never see you coming. Too many of us have been sold a bill of goods about only certain people are successful. They have to come from these kind of families. They have to have media connections. They have to be around these type of people. They have to be super skinny. They have to be blonde. They have to be this and that. Or, as an African American, the only way I can make it is in entertainment or sports, never in business. When I think back, and I stand before you all today, I thought about all the flaws and all the things people told me about myself. When I went to school, it's like school set me on fire. I was challenging myself to speak to students. I was challenging myself to build up my own network of misfits because I felt comfortable around the misfits. The ones that would smoke. I didn't smoke. Or the ones around people who were just saying, oh, they'll never make it. I felt comfortable there. But I was also the number 1 speller in my class. In fact, I made it to the Scripps Howard Spelling Bee. I was number 7. So you don't hear my name because I was number 1. You know what time it is. And it's okay. The reason why I bring this up is because if you all look over your life and you think back to all those times where you didn't quite fit in, or you went into some place, everybody looked good, and you're thinking, oh man, I look bad. Oh, I'm too big. I'm too this and too that. I don't want you thinking about what you think you don't have. I want you to think about what you do have. Now, how many of you have ever made a mistake? Come on, be for real. How many of you have ever felt less than around other people? If we're really going to keep it a buck, how many of us have been canceled before cancel culture existed? And probably still canceled by some people. The reason why I ask you these questions is because so many of us are filled with this anxiety that we don't want to put ourselves out there. You've heard all these great speakers telling you to go, have the courage and do something totally different. Well, I'm going to encourage you to do the same. Who would ever think that a full-figure diva who didn't grow up as a full-figure diva, I was thin at one point. It was a long time ago, but I'm just saying. Who would ever think a full-figure diva would ever have the nerve to fight to be on television before the iconic Lizzo? Yeah, that was me, Precious Williams. I just want y'all to know. It was me. I remember when I became an attorney. Thought I was going to love it. Hated it. Oh, my goodness. And I had all the credentials. Sullivan Cromwell, all these great clerking for a federal judge. All that sounds good. But what if you're unhappy? But you've been told by everyone this is your path. When there's no one else in your family who's ever gotten into college, let alone finished college on a full scholarship, Spelman College, went off to Georgetown University Law Center on a full scholarship. Yeah, I know I got kicked out. I did get kicked out. Because I know they watch it, and I want to make sure they know. I got kicked out on March 15th, 2002. Reimagine. I got a full scholarship to Rutgers School of Law. Started in 2003. Had a nervous breakdown on April 12th, 2004. And I'm thinking, it's really over. Maybe I'm not supposed to be an attorney. But maybe what I was supposed to do is reimagine. Maybe the path that everyone else is on is not my path. Maybe I'm not supposed to just go to school and just follow this path. Maybe I'm supposed to do something different. And so even though I got kicked out of one law school, even though I had a nervous breakdown and was in the hospital for 3 months, maybe that was God trying to tell me something. As a woman, as a plus-size woman to certain people, as people of color, as a woman, as a man, a BIPOC, LGBTQ+, to some people, that's blasphemous to ever put yourself forward. You deserve to be in the back. I'm challenging y'all to reimagine everything they said that's wrong about you, that is actually right. So that when you have opportunities to get on stage and introduce yourselves to people, you take advantage of it. You don't sit in the background and let everybody else dictate how you live your life. I don't think I'll ever be a thin woman in life. I can try to get there. I got down 181 pounds, but it wasn't moving past that needle. I will never be another color. I will never be one of those speakers that's just, demure. That's not me. I want to grab you, and I want to tell you something. And I want you all to reimagine everything. And I'm going to take it back to my story. I left a great man in 2010 because we just weren't compatible anymore. I didn't know that I would soon meet a very famous Hollywood actor. And I was 327 pounds. Y'all heard me right. If some of y'all big in this room, no, I got him. And he treasured being with me. He flew me out, held my hand in public. I'm on sets like, I know you see me. And just the way he looked at me, the way he treated me, I thought because I was a bigger woman, I'm not entitled to have someone love me. I kept hearing my mother tell me, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're a chocolate, you're never going to have friends. She was wrong. And the reason why she was wrong is because I hadn't reimagined what life after failure looks like. I didn't know that there is life after failure. You can read about the biblical figures all you want, but if it doesn't hit your inside, you don't know. I never believed I could get a good man, so I took what I could, and that was a mistake. So I had to reimagine life on the arm of a very famous Hollywood actor. He challenged me to look at myself different, to reimagine life where I walk into the room and I am Beyonce and nothing else. I'm not the sidekick, I'm Beyonce. Up here, y'all, I had Beyonce's ponytail, but it was too heavy, so I was like, let me just put it up here because it's a little, I was going to do I was going to do it, and then I was like, oh, wait, I'm 42, hold up, let me get myself right. And I was like, let me just put my crown on. Let me just reimagine, okay, maybe I'm Beyonce P, maybe I'm P. Witty. But I am never a background figure. I will never stand in the background for anyone. I'm going to enter boldly into every space that I'm in, and I'm going to let people know. They call me the killer pitchmaster for a reason. When they told me I was too fat, too black, and didn't have an Ivy League degree, no one would ever invest in my first company, which created lingerie for full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. When I went head-to-head with the Sharks on Shark Tank Season 8 in 2016, even they were spellbound. What did I have to do? Reimagine. I'm not going to come on Shark Tank and just look conservative. I'm coming in a low-cut canary yellow peplum dress. I'm going to have an afro, extreme makeup. I'm going to have my full-figure diva. So when I say that Beyonce line and they come in, Mark Cuban was like, you go, girl. And Robert Herjavec said something I'll never forget. He said, watching you is like watching a master at their craft. But how did it start? I had to reimagine. I had to reimagine a space that would accept me, and it began within. Whether other people like me or not, it really isn't my problem. I love me. I love me. I wrote 3 #1 best-selling books at a time when things were dark. And to see my 2 billboards in Times Square, with my picture on it, the same face that my mother wanted to leave in the hospital, next to a #1 best-selling book that Forbes magazine reviewed, to be on top television shows, to be on Forbes, CNN, Wall Street Journal, Shark Tank, and everything, all of that sounds really great. But do you know what sounds better? That I love me. And when I say reimagine your flaws as your secret weapon, whether you're BIPOC, whether you're a single mother, whether you're, a woman, what if you're homeless? What if you're dealing with addiction? So many people deal with it in silence. I was willing to put my story forward, not for sympathy, but to show that it can be overcome. So when people say you too fat, too black, didn't have an Ivy League degree, well, guess who taught at Harvard University this year? And I'm sorry, I still don't have an Ivy League degree. So think about that. When I talk about reimagine your flaws, reimagine loving your skin. Reimagine loving your body as it is and not what you think it should look like. Reimagine walking into a room and all eyes on you and you wanting it. Reimagine walking up to that woman or that man and saying, I know you want to taste. Let's go ahead and do it. I know you want to taste. I mean, look, I know you see these others, but you've seen the rest. Now see the best. And coming in with that attitude, that's what I had to reimagine. I had to reimagine my life from the inside out. And just because my parents didn't want me, just because none of the neighborhood boys when I was growing up wanted me, it took an encounter with God. It took an encounter with a famous Hollywood actor who was not afraid to show me off when we live in this world that tells you have to look this way, sound this way, and act this way. To be in movies, to be in documentaries, to be considered the killer pitch master, to go into 14 elevator pitch competitions and win 13 times. To have people stop asking you, do you make food? To saying, oh, can I get some of that curvy girl? Can I get some of your lingerie? I'm like, we don't have that anymore, but I got something better for you. I want you to look at your next beautiful now and to not have the fear that we all once had. When I tell y'all, the reason why I say I want y'all to reimagine your flaws, everything you think is wrong with you is so right. So many of us are so to Billy Goods, don't believe it. Believe in your next beautiful now and go after it. I was once an attorney. I'm former and I'm going to continue to be former. I love being a serial entrepreneur, an international professional speaker, and a 3-time #1 best-selling author. And you know what? I love my mom. I love my dad. But I love me more because I had to reimagine life from being unwanted to standing before you all, and my friends are in this audience. I was not supposed to have friends, and they show up for me. So what I tell y'all, reimagine everything in your life and go boldly into your next beautiful now. Reimagine. Thank you.